Another issue in Hollywood right now is the possible, actor strike. Are you concerned about that right now?
Oh, I'm always concerned when there's any kind of strike. The writer's strike was really very, very damaging to a lot of people's livelihoods. And while it was an important strike to have, it is really disruptive and really difficult to manage. And so, yes, of course I'm concerned, but I'm also, of course, concerned about the issues.
Do you think there'll be a strike?
I don't have a real clear picture about it because I hear reports that there either is likely to be or there is not likely to be, and so it's really hard to follow at this point.
Are you amazed at the success of SVU in the fact that it has been on for almost a decade now, and the ratings have never been better?
I'm amazed that anything would have that lasting power on television, and that it's so popular, and that it's been on so long, and I'm very proud and happy to have been on it this long. I've been on it 8 out of those 10 years, or almost 10 years. And I feel that in some ways it's not surprising because I've always been fascinated by the formula of it and by the audience's response to it, and the fact that it's so friendly to it's so user-friendly. It's so easy to watch and become absorbed in. It doesn't require anything from you. You don't even have to watch from week to week to really appreciate it. So there are a lot of really basic things about it that make it really popular because people have no problem tuning in the middle of a season, that kind of thing.
It's a really dark show, but it has an extremely strong female fan base. Yes. I gotta say, that kind of surprises me. I would never have thought a really dark show like this, which tackles very real-world issues, would have a strong female fan base.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, what does dark actually mean? Dark is an interesting way to describe it because ultimately at the end of it...
I say dark in the sense I never would have expected a show like this to be even on the air 10 years ago.
Okay, yes. I think what's interesting about, the show has a very strong female fan base. The show is also very dark, and those two things don't necessarily seem to go together. But to me, I think it's the way that the darkness is dealt with, and with the fact that the show has a pretty strong feminist point of view is what attracts women to the show. How about that?
That's wonderful. Now, one more question before I go. I was looking over your resume, and one of the things I know you did that put a smile on my face was you played Dr. Singh on Sesame Street.
Yes.
And I guess that's got to be an enjoyable show. And by watching a show like that, you got to believe that that's helping in your cause of diversity, right?
Yes, I was thrilled to be invited to be on Sesame Street. I loved the time that I spent there. It was really fun for me. I'm a little sorry that I didn't have a child of my own at that time because that would have been really fun. But I did hold it in really high regard because of my watching Sesame Street when I was younger and all of that stuff. What was the question, though?
Just you believe, Sesame Street, which has been on now for decades and has been shown to actually have helped, teach kids about diversity. Do you believe that show will continue to do so, as long as it's on the air?
Oh, yes, of course. It's perennial and wonderful, and it is one of those kind of, yes, I think I loved it. I mean, I think that was probably why I loved being on it so much, is because I loved it so much as an audience member.
When I was thinking about your lecture, something came across. What crossed my mind is that right now there's always argument about how broadcast television isn't very diverse.
Yes.
Especially with Asian Americans. There's 2 on NBC, your character, as well as the one on Heroes, Sandra Oh on ABC, and that's about it.
Uh-huh.
Do you think network TV, do you think they're evolving and they're becoming more diverse, or it's a much harder struggle on that end?
I've been trained to answer it by including the question, but that's really hard to do, so I'm just going to answer the question.
No, I guess more, do you see us as a country moving forward in diversity faster than what network television is doing?
Oh, I see. Well, the issue of diversity in network television, specifically regarding Asian Americans, is really, an area in which I think our progress has been very slow. And so I see the little progress that I've experienced or witnessed as an encouragement, but it certainly is somehow emblematic of a lack of inclusion in general when it comes to Asian Americans. Certainly even gay people have more exposure on television than Asian Americans do for some reason, and a certain level of gay activism and energy towards gay civil rights has forced that issue, not so much so with Asian Americans, and that's certainly an interesting challenge for me as a person who is in the field of being on television and wanting to make a living. It is a challenge. I do, however, think that it's a lot different than it was when I was a kid, and the opportunities are possibly not more plentiful, but definitely more dignified, and definitely more substance. And so I think that's progress.